I'll just go here, pedal shift, put it to manual, bring the revs up, pull right away. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I got with me 2018 C300 Mercedes-Benz. Today we're going to be checking it out, testing out like all the features, checking out the interior, and test driving it, do a full review on it. We're gonna see if it's a good car for 2025. Take a look at what's on the market, what's the comparables, like what other cars compared to the C300, and let's see if it's a good car for 2025. Alright guys, so first things first, we gotta make sure the car is clean, so we gotta stop by here by the car wash. I always like to come here because it's close to my place. But in the meantime, let's start comparing this car to its competition, and then we'll get into more detail shortly after. Alright, so first starting off with the BMW. The most comparable BMW to this Mercedes is going to be a BMW 3 Series 330i, which is also another sedan, four-door sedan. Has about 248 horsepower and at 5200 RPM. Does about 258 pound-feet of torque, and they say it does 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. So I'll see if I can find a similar BMW like that and try it out as well. In terms of technology, it's pretty comparable to it. I would say the BMW though is, from my perspective, is kind of built more on a little more sportier, versus having a balance of sport and luxury, whereas Mercedes is more on the luxury end. Next is going to be the Audi A4 sedan. It comes at 252 horsepower at 5000 RPM with a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, pretty similar to the Mercedes C300. It produces about 273 pound-feet of torque, and according to Audi, it can go 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds. I'll definitely look for an Audi as well, A4 or higher model, and compared to other cars or the Mercedes here that we're comparing to, and see how it compares. But yeah, right here we're looking at the base model C300. No crazy updates, everything base model, trims, rims and everything. And now coming on to this C300 4MATIC sedan Mercedes. It produces about 241 horsepower at 5500 RPM with a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, and also creating 273 pound-feet of torque. And according to Mercedes, it goes from 0 to 60 in 5.8 seconds. And in terms of like what stands out about the car is it will do 130 miles per hour as top speed. Inside it's got a leather wrapped steering wheel, power windows, rear window defroster, which is common in all the other cars compared. But yeah, the technology is a little better compared to some of the other competition, whereas you have a little more options that we'll go through with the infotainment system and the little 7-inch display that we're going to be looking at here real soon. And I'll say this, having owned this car for a while now, this is pretty good value for a 4-cylinder engine. I mean, you're doing 23 miles an hour on fuel economy in a city, with 32 on the highway and the 26 miles per gallon combined, which is not bad. And you'll see all the different engine modes, where you can have the eco mode where you're actually gliding sometimes and saving up more on gas. Another comparable to these Mercedes is going to be the Lexus IS 300 4-door sedan. This is a car that produces about 241 horsepower at 5800 RPM with a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, pretty similar to the Mercedes, also creating about 258 pound-feet of torque, and can go from 0 to 60 in about 6.9 seconds. So essentially, in terms of performance, the IS is going to be lower than the BMW and the Mercedes, but Toyota and Lexus usually pride themselves on reliability. So this car, I'm going to assume it has less problems and less issues coming up compared to the Mercedes or BMW. So in the interior, you can see it does have the leather seats. They're really comfy and pretty spacious in the back as well. Single guy, I like sedans, so I don't mind this car, but if you have like a small family or whatever, it will still be a decent amount of size for the car in itself. And then coming here, you have your controls here, and one really cool feature that I like is this guy here pulls out. So if I go like that, you'll see him pull out, and that essentially just, you know, makes you feel more comfortable when you're riding. It's pretty handy, especially if you're driving like long distances and things like that. And then here you have your numbers that once you have all the setup, like however you want to set your seat, so you adjust the seat, the headrest, you just press on M for memorize, and then you press on a number, and we'll just save it. And that applies to the seat, the steering wheel, and the mirrors. And it's got like these small little lights here. I'll show you guys. Let's see how to book your reading. Got these small lights here that you can actually turn on or off. They're pretty bright at night. I'll actually show you guys when it's dark outside. But it's got them like on both sides here. You can turn it on or off. And it's pretty handy, especially if you're in the back and, you know, you just want to do your little reading. You got your little AC vents down here that you can turn on or off. And then like LED lighting throughout. All right guys, and coming towards the trunk here, it does have enough space for, you know, storing a lot of stuff. Got a bunch of open house signs in there, a bunch of random personal stuff in there, but it's pretty spacious. And using this lever here, you can actually pull it. The seats will go towards the front. If I'm cracking when I do it, we'll just pull it down. There you have it. And stuff for something that's really long that can't fit in a trunk. And so one cool feature that I really like about this car is if you have the key in your pocket, you'll just pull up towards the back and you just kick, and you hear the sound. You'll actually, you know, lock the trunk, and if you do the same thing again, you'll unlock it. And now you have these two options here where you can actually lock it or just, you know, close it. I'll just do that. Another cool feature, let's say if you had some in the back or something in the car that you want to keep in the trunk and don't want anyone to have access to the trunk, is you'll come here towards the front, and when you open this guy here, you'll see these two options for locking and unlocking. And right now it's slid to unlock, so if you slide it over to lock and just do that, it'll come here in the back. If you try to open the trunk, it won't open, right? If you try to kick, it won't work. So of course, you gotta use your key. There's a little key here that you pull out, and you just lock it from here. That way nobody has access to the glove box. So one really cool feature I wanted to point out is, let's say if we'll just step out the car real quick, just turn it off here, and then we'll step out. And when you press here, you just lock the car. What I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna press and hold unlock button, press and hold, and it just opens it. Right, how cool is that? If you're really like lazy and you don't want to like remove the key from your pocket, you just press here and it will just lock the car. And then once that is done, you can just press and hold on it, and it will just close it. So the moonroof, the windows, there you have it. And then yeah, like inside is it's really cool, right? Like this car is 7 years old and it still feels like, you know, it's pretty updated. So I'll just go ahead and turn it on. One thing that I like is when you turn it on and you close the door, the steering wheel will come down. Look at that, pretty cool. And you got this little 7-inch display that's got like all kinds of features in it. I'll show you guys. You got the moonroof that goes all the way to the back, and you can just use this button right here. Just close it up like that. You press like that, it will stop. Right, and then you press it again, it keeps going. It goes all the way back. Gets a little darker, right? Especially if you don't want the sun. And yep, you got this little controller or whatever. So it's like you can slide your finger on it and you'll have controls to the car. I really don't use the navigation system like that. That's one con about this car, is that they didn't really integrate the navigation system until like 2021, I believe. But in here you can go in and, you know, kind of play around with the settings, like vehicle settings, right? See what's in there. acoustic feedback. So that's when you lock the car, like it will beep or honk. Belt adjustment. So this one is a really cool feature because I'll show you guys. Like right now, let's say if you're to sit in the passenger seat, now you take your seat belt and just put it in, it'll actually adjust it for you. Look at that. Yeah, it just adjusted it to, you know, make you feel more comfortable, or make sure you're actually secure. But it's a really cool feature. Mirror folding, lighting. This is the lighting for late at night. It looks cool at night. You know, things like that. Dynamic select, I don't even know what that is. Yep, like you got all kinds of stuff there you can play around with. And then you got this nice little clock and all the controls here. You can press menu on there, it'll bring up the AC controls. And then you can also use this guy here to, you know, go back and forth. One thing I wanted to kind of touch on is the dynamic button. So when you use that, you'll actually see it here in the front. Like when I go up or down, like you can change the modes here, and you got like all kinds of modes in here. Eco mode, whatever they call it. Comfort, sport, sport plus, and individual. And each mode has got its settings on there. It will show you. So essentially, like something like comfort, for the most part I ride it in comfort. It's pretty neat. Like you still have enough power, but like eco mode, you're actually saving on gas, and it will actually use less power when you get on the throttle. And it feels a little more smooth and stuff like that. And then you have sport, and then sport plus, which is more aggressive. Of course, this is the base model, so it's not an AMG. It doesn't have like all the cool features the AMG is gonna have when it comes to performance, but still, you know, stylish. Yep. And then you have the 360 option here. When you click it, you'll see like a 360 camera of the car, which is pretty cool. And you can actually press on here to make it like a 180 type deal. And then that's the sensors, turning the sensors on or off. That's for the trunk. All right, it's about time to go ahead and rev it up. All right, guys, let's take it out for a quick spin. Right off the bat, you can feel the steering radius is really solid. It doesn't take too much space to turn around. For a sedan this long, it's pretty solid. And yeah, the overall feel of the car is like leather on the steering wheel, the black on black. I personally do like it. And then the ability that you have all the adjustments for the seat, the headrest, and things like that. Here, I think it's pretty handy. It's always a, you know, pretty smooth ride with this car. One thing I've realized is it's very precise when you're actually taking corners. I'll show you guys actually when I'm on a highway or somewhere where I'm merging. You can actually, you know, take a turn at like 80 kilometers an hour, just, you know, and it still feels like it's pretty solid. And this is comfort mode for a 4-cylinder. It's pretty decent power for a base model. Of course, the higher you go with the like AMG models, you're gonna have way more power, like way more. But this still, you know, gives you pretty decent balance. And, you know, the fact that you have the paddle shifters as well helps. If you want to kind of take control and change the speed yourself, it's pretty handy. All right, so I'm right here. I'm gonna test it out, guys. And you know, 0 to 60, Mercedes says you should do it in 5.8 seconds. We're gonna see if we can do 5.8 or better. So right now I'm in comfort mode. I'm gonna go here and change it to sport mode and put it to sport plus. You can actually feel the car pull a little as you change it to sport plus. It'll make the suspension, you know, stiffer and keep higher revs and lower gears. And I'll just go here, pedal shift, put it to manual, foot on a brake, get on the gas a little, bring the revs up. Oh not bad for a 4-cylinder for sure. 60. Right now I'm merging, and let's see how fast I can go, because right now I'm 37 miles an hour on the corner. Just floor it. Still doing the corner, and we're already at 60 miles an hour. Look at that. That's crazy. And yeah, this is another really cool feature about these Mercedes is you can go up to 80 miles an hour and you can stay below 2,000 revs per minute. So right now I'm in 9th gear and I'm doing 82, so 80 miles an hour, and I'm just under the bar number 2, which means I'm under 2,000 revs per minute. Pretty cool. It means you can go faster and still save on gas. And so this car is also paired with a 9-speed automatic transmission that, you know, shifts smoothly. And if you're one of those people that like to drive on the highway a lot, or things of that nature, you definitely like this car. And the braking is absolutely perfect as well. Definitely gonna be reviewing more cars, you know. I'll definitely want to take out the BMW and Audis and probably some American muscle cars as well. See how they handle, and we'll see how they compare to. I'll try and see if I can find some base models. We'll see how they compare with these one right here. All right. Before we're done, I'll show you one more thing. And so when you close the car, you kind of see the blue ambient light still going on. It's not too bright, but definitely enough to kind of create an ambient vibe in the car. So one thing I was going to show you guys is right here. I'm in the back, and when you press on here is a little button that will actually let the light come through. It's pretty decent for reading and stuff like that right there. Got another one right here, very bright for the back. Thought that was cool. All right guys, we're back. I told you I was gonna give you some night action. Look at that nighttime action. Got the Mercedes logo on there. Got all the LED lights on there going. Got the blue LED lights there. Pretty good for nighttime. Kind of creates an ambient vibe on there. Goes all the way there. Check the back. You got the blue coming from right here. I can't see it from here, right? And the red from here, right? Creates a nice ambient vibe. All right, so that was about it for the tour. So you guys let me know down in the comments, do you think the 2018 C300 Mercedes is a good car for 2025, and what car do you want me to do next? All right, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.